Hi everybody, I'm Badass Benny 1010 and welcome to my channel. And if you're an AMAX survivor, adult molested as a child, ACE, adverse childhood experiences, sex, human trafficking, you're in the right place. Oh, I have to move myself. Until I get table and chairs, this is what I'm doing. Today we're going to talk about rape trauma syndrome. And there's 3 stages to it. The first stage is the acute stage, which begins immediately and lasts about 6 to 8 weeks. The symptoms are disorientation. You could have difficulty sleeping, eating disorders, bulimia, anorexia, disassociation, indigestion, and bowel problems. So you have nightmares. That'll happen. This stage usually lasts as long as the physical injuries take to heal. During this stage, survivors don't want to be around people, or they may want to become lost in a crowd. You know, you're just kind of wandering around. You're just look like a deer in the headlight look, and you don't see the people around you, you know, and some people, it's kind of like, dissociation is like driving through a signal light and you're following the person in front of you, right? And are you paying attention to see the green light, or are you just following the person in front of you? And it's kind of like that, you're just kind of following, you're just not there. And the survivors may also experience overwhelming fear, heightened paranoia, and suspiciousness. You know, you're suspicious of the rapist coming back, or are they around? Fear of being physically harmed in any way. You feel like they're going to come back and hurt you, you know. Excuse me. Sit up here. And sometimes survivors are also angry at everyone except the rapist. So you can have a survivor take everything out on the person closest to you. It could be your mom, dad, boyfriend, girlfriend, your cousin, whoever you're closest to. You're going to take all this out on them. So survivors feel a lot of shame that they were not strong enough and not good enough. Their self-esteem is gone. They feel shock, guilt, and disbelief, like this really happened, especially in Quayton's rape. You know, it's like, wow, did this really happen? Or you're second-guessing, you're doubting yourself. Some of the things that impact the acute stage are the level of violence, the age of the survivor. I know a lot of, again, adults that have a hard time when they're raped as adults to be flexible, like a weeping willow tree. It's more like a dry twig. And children, when they're raped, have some sort of resiliency. They bounce back. A lot do. I'm not saying all. The second stage of rape trauma syndrome is the pseudo stage. In this stage, the survivor denies the severity of the attack, like, oh, he didn't really hit me, oh, he or she didn't stick that thing in me, or said that, or survivors use alcohol, drugs, food, credit cards, multiple relationships, like hookups. We all have all survivors have a shadow side. I have a shadow side. It's about accepting it. I'm walking through it, and I'm like, okay, you know, you can't deny things are happening, but people do. And moving to run away from the issue, constantly moving here and there, on the go, constantly moving, constantly on the go, and cannot just be. You have to be doing something, saying something. And I did that for years, just running. Traveling, not to feel, to numb. I don't numb today. I don't escape today. And I'm grateful for that. I'm going to go like this because I want to, uh, with my belief in my higher power, I want to, like, um, this means to confirm it, you know, in a spiritual way. That's why I do that. And you can do that however you want to. I used to have a medicine bag. So, um, so teens, especially teens, get stuck in this stage, the studio stage, the drinking and using, them running away, taking off, being with men or women that are 10 to 15 years older or even more. Get married, you're maybe 18, get married to a 28-year-old or more, someone way older than you, and that's common. Because, teens have, you know, if they have past sexual assault, rapes and stuff and trauma, and, like maybe 5 or 6, they were raped by their cousin or their uncle or their, and those kinds of things affect the teen and find other relationships that could be dangerous to get into, or dangerous environments, high-risk environments, and do high-risk behavior, like, not having sex with a condom or something, and more, there's more things uglier than, not putting your condom on. Rapes that have no boundaries, which means they do not have the ability to set acceptable behavior limits for themselves or others. They are very vulnerable and very easily taken advantage of, teenagers, and I agree. I know in the state of California it's against the law to have sex in the state of California. It was to prevent pregnancies in teens. Is it working? No. Someone's trying to call me, and I'm using my phone, and I'm not going to answer, but I'm going to continue. The main focus of the survivor in this stage, is the studio stage, is to balance the ramifications of the assault, suppress it, put it in the back of the head, suppress it. We're really good about that. I'm just not going to think about that, and I'm going to put that way back here, and I don't want to think about that, ever. But it will always be there until we look at it. And then people act out behaviors, have many partners. Sexual assault survivors do high-risk behavior, especially teens. Having sex with multiple partners without condoms, getting drunk and using, having sex with adults, and way mature for their age. Especially, you can have a 5-year-old that acts like a teen. You know what I mean? Depends on the environment. Every child is different, and the assault is different, so you have to look at it individually. So as a survivor, we have a tendency to suppress it and struggle to maintain a balance in our life. If this stage continues, the end results are mental illness, schizophrenia, loss of jobs, homes, and families. The studio stage lasts the longest. It can last many years, 30 or 40 or a few years, depends on the person. I didn't want to be a statistic. So that's why I went to Rape Crises every week on a Thursday at 10 o'clock and took my 12-step sexual assault inventory in by by a 12-step program. I took it in, and I talked to my peer counselor for 7 years and kept working on it and changing behaviors, cognitively changing behaviors if I could, and educating myself about why I do the things I do, and wanting to change those behaviors because I didn't want to be a statistic. But still, many AMAC survivors get divorces. They get many divorces, and I don't want, and many other characteristics and behaviors that we have if we don't look at our AMAC issues, and we do as adults. I'll have a list of those and we can talk about that, but not this time. And so I want to talk about the third stage of rape trauma syndrome is the reconciliation, like renormalizing everything. Resolution stage. So again, this is called the third step of rape trauma syndrome is the reconciliation, renormalizing, resolution stage. I apologize. My daughter can be rude. I'm not texting her or calling her back. I'm told her I'm busy. And that's another thing. Survivors don't have good boundaries. And because if all you know as an AMAC survivor is someone taking from you, and that is crossing your boundary continually, that's all you know, and then you do it in life. And so, as a child and as an adult, so I chose to work on having healthy boundaries and making them. And, that was a whole new process. And we're going to talk about making boundaries too. And boundaries are to keep ourselves safe. So this is the stage of acknowledgement that the sexual assault happened. Okay, I'm out of denial, everything happened. I've been acting out, it happened. 30, 40 years later, do you really want to be acting out your stuff on your deathbed, folks? That's why I have this video. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because I've seen old folks act out their traumas. And it's ugly, it's messy. And it's also acceptance that you need help. And you have your local RAINN. I put that on my channel that you can look up and call if you get triggered by this and you want to talk. And that's good. That's a start. Acknowledgement. That did happen instead of it didn't happen. And then once you get over the denial, then you can have healing. And if you lie to yourself or others, you can't heal. It's about getting honest. And people rather not hear the truth or look at the truth. They rather have the polished version of the truth. And I go deep. I'm raw and I'm deep, and I don't mess around, because people die every day, all day from rape trauma syndrome. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And so once you accept it and you need help, and also the acceptance of your part in the rape. Sexual assault survivors are never to blame for sexual assault. You're never to blame for sexual assault. I need to say that again. Sexual assault survivors are never to blame for the sexual assault. It goes back on to the perpetrator. And that could be an aunt, uncle, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, grandpa, grandma, stranger, man, woman. Could be another child. There's so many scenarios. But always, the assault, someone goes back on the perp. And we have a tendency to take it in, like, did I cause this? What did I do? We blame ourselves, we're our worst critics, right? And I want you all to learn to celebrate that we're alive. Like the Epstein files, those men and women are alive. They have been through it. And still today, their names are being, instead of confidentiality, their names are being broken. Instead of making arrests here in the United States on the Epstein files of celebrities, elitists, presidents all around the world, And we are not a third world country. We are United States of America. And we have laws and rules. And we have a president, a sitting president, that is a serial rapist, convicted, and other things as well. And it is unfathomable. You know, when I worked for Rape Crises in my hometown for 11 years, we always thought, what would it take to bring awareness to sexual assault? And we thought it would be the president's daughter, you know, like we all stereotype that a man coming out of the bushes is going to attack me. It's a stranger. No, and he's naked, or he has like a long coat, jacket, and he shows himself, you know. No, it's not like that. Those stereotypes, it's usually family members, 85%. And, you know, statistics change, so you can Google. I wouldn't Google it. I try not to use Google when I found out that Google, the guy who started it, is on the Epstein list. So most of the folks on the Epstein list, I don't watch their movies. I don't have nothing to do with them. And here what we're doing is that the president is a rapist, and that's what's bringing attention to sexual assault that's been going on since the beginning of time. Incest since the beginning of time. Now we're intelligent beings. We're supposed to be up here, not coming back down here to the 50s mentality. Men and women need to keep growing, not staying in the toxicity of the muck and doing the same patterns and behaviors over and over and over and over and over and expecting different results, right? It's insane. It's crazy. So if you don't want to be crazy, take a look at your shit. Like everybody else, we all have to do it, the inner work. Don't matter who you are in the world. We're all human beings. We're all connected. And rape happens in any culture. If you're a human being, it happens anywhere in the world. Now, remember, celebrate that you survived, that you turned your self-blame into good reasons for your behavior. Like, give yourself kudos. Survivors move away from should, saying that it's okay, instead of I should have done that or could have done that. Say, I'm okay, I'm okay. You turn your feelings of guilt and shame into positive self-care skills. Empowerment. I'm about empowerment. So whether you go out and you want to go to get empowered, some people will, in healing, I've done a lot of healing work, so some people, I've done 20 years of Sweat Lodge, done, watched videos, done a lot of crying, EMDR, feeling the, you know, looking at things deeper, and understanding and educating myself and accepting. And it's not all who I am, but education is key. And doing the action and taking the work and acceptance that, yeah, I'm a survivor and this happened, and saying it out loud. I'm a rape survivor or a copulation, and I'm going to tell you my story.